Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, this is Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. If you like a determiner, family pet ancestry, I keep paying for it because it still makes me laugh, but all it does is point to JackieCation.com. Let's do the credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song you just heard. He's going to sing his words to the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. He sings in the beginning with his wife, Sarah Cohen, father of one. Next up, Patrick Brady, going to fix this audio. Vilmos. He does the website, thejackycation.com. There are many ways to support the Dork Forest, PayPal being the easiest. If you hate PayPal, you can also Venmo me, or you can hand money to me when you see me do stand-up comedy, whatever you need to do. But if you want to actually give me money to support me to do the show, I would appreciate it. We're in the 12th year of the Dork Forest. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes. The PayPal button is on JackieCation.com and DorkForest.com. There is a link to an Amazon button, which is just a portal on both Dork Forest and Jackie Cation that brings you to Amazon. You order like normal and doesn't cost you extra, but it supports the show. So knock yourself out if you want to do either of those two things. I have not made it easy for you to be a monthly donator. You have to remember every month that you like the show. I recommend $10 a month, and then that'll be $100 at the end of the year because of November and December. I tell you not to. You can also get merch if you want a Dork Forest t-shirt or a hoodie. I have the hoodies in stock. If you may not believe me, you can email me for anything, actually, Jackie@JackieCation.com. And I'll make sure I have your size in the hoodie, but the t-shirts are always in stock. There are Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirts, regular Dork Forest logo design t-shirts, and a couple of stand-up shirts, Spooky Reading Girl and the Meat Shield t-shirt. The Meat Shield t-shirt is a charitable t-shirt, so all of the profits from that will go to Black Lives Matter, ACLU, and the Southern Law Poverty, whatever. Anyway, I have enamel pins for Spooky Reading Girl and Meat Shield that are not on the website. Email me, Jackie@JackieCation.com. We could talk if you like an enamel pin. Other than that, you can get my CDs and my DVD right there on JackieCation.com, the merch page, the store page. And you can get all that stuff digitally as well as Amazon, iTunes. And you can just listen to it on Spotify and YouTube. The Dork Force is also now on YouTube. There's the teaser clips, but the full episodes are actually on YouTube now as well, which is crazy. But if you like to listen to a podcast on YouTube, attainable goal is what I guess I'm saying. They're also on JackieCation.com, my tour page. You could find out where I'm doing stand-up comedy and if it is near you. And the last of it, of course, is that if there are several premium episodes that were taped and recorded live, cost me a couple of dollars, so they are on Bandcamp, thedorkforest.bandcamp.com. They cost $2 an episode, and there's probably 10 of them. There's a couple with Maria Bamford. There's one with Lorraine Newman and Moon Zappa, and just a bunch of people, super fun. And if you want to listen, if you've listened to all of these and want to get a premium episode, thedorkforest.bandcamp.com. Enough. Let us get into the program. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my living room, you guys, and I'm with Carlos Delgado.
Hello, I'm Carlos Delgado.
Yeah, you are. And you got your own podcast called Pod Damn America.
I do.
With Jake Flores.
That's right.
And it made me laugh because, of course, Pod Save America.
We can't stand those fights.
Those guys stole all your thunder.
They really did.
All your thunder.
Yeah, in a jar.
In a jar,
Yeah.
and with a giant bag of money as a doorstop.
Well, we can't all be lucky.
Nope. No, and that's partially, I think that's what podcasting is.
It is really, it's lightning striking
right.
twice.
When I think about My Favorite Murder, which is, I love those guys.
Yeah.
But why?
How quickly they went to theaters about murder.
Yeah.
It's for me, I love it, and it's baffling.
Right. And I don't like murder. But
Not a fan?
Not a fan of murder, but
subscribe.
It creeps me out.
Right.
And I'm going to go on and tell my Uncle Tom story about how my Uncle Tom tried to kill my Aunt Shelley in the cyanide.
What?
Yeah. Anyway, remember cyanide and Tylenol?
I remember that.
Right, or
the big
you
scandal.
remember hearing about
I
it?
remember
Yeah.
hearing it in the news. Yeah.
Right. And so there was a copycat incident.
No way.
in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, and someone died, and that was my Uncle Tom.
Wow.
Sure. People, by the way, you could go to my premium Bandcamp and listen to that story live.
What is that? Bandcamp.com/Jackie
It's thedorkforest.bandcamp.com. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
It's $1 for that story, so live it up.
Oh, that's
the whole album's $4 because
Jackie,
there's 4
that's
stories.
a $5 story. You are really giving it away.
That's it. You know, you can pay more than you like. Anyway, so Carlos Delgado, stand-up comic, very funny, New York guy.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in New York?
I did in New Jersey. Started comedy in New York.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
gutsy stuff.
Thank you so much. It really was.
Right. Whenever I think about, I tried to move to New York to do stand-up.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
What happened?
Well, it didn't go well.
You landed? That was
I was living in Weehawken with a friend of mine.
Why?
And I was working at and I've told this story before, but hear it again, New Rangers, is I was working at an insurance company called Chubb Life.
I know it.
Do you know it?
Yeah, I do know Chubb Life.
It's a real insurance
Yeah,
company.
I'm from Jersey. I'm not that far from Weehawken. I grew up. So, yeah.
Well, but no, I
It was
worked in the financial. So I would
Manhattan.
take the path into the World Trade Center and then not blow it up, and then
Good for you.
Good for me. Every day, I'm not a terrorist.
You're a hero.
We'll win,
You're
right?
a
I'm a
hero.
hero.
You're a hero.
And then, and so I worked there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Lied, told her my mother had cancer, and I had to go back to Wisconsin.
You did that?
Yeah.
I did that before.
Have you done that?
Yeah, I was working in Portland in an office job that I
Maine,
hated.
Oregon.
Oregon.
Okay.
And I think that's where we first met. I was
That
working
was right.
Helium. Yeah, with
Yes.
J.F. Harris.
That's right. We met with J.F. Harris.
That's right.
Another great comic.
good
I
guy.
think he's been on the show. Don't know.
No idea.
Should be now.
His Dorking would
Delaware.
be coffee, by the way.
Oh, would it?
Oh, the man is made of coffee.
I've had a coffee dork on. He roasted and grounded it.
His own.
It was a dork. It was one of the first dork expeditions, I think. It's a Seattle coffee dude. Oh, it was kind of crazy. David Crow set me up. It's a fascinating story. In other news, you did that. You told him your mom. Now, is your mom dead already? I killed my dead mom.
You killed your dead mom?
Yeah.
No, so my mom was dead to me. So
110%, my friends.
so I felt less guilty about killing my mom.
Yeah.
But we're okay now. But
Let's make people like Carlos Delgado again. No. Your dorkdom is the Great British Bakeoff.
the Great British Bakeoff.
and adjacent things. But Carlos Delgado, by the way, is a baseball player that is
for the
retired.
Mets, retired for the Mets.
So that is not your Twitter feed.
No, unfortunately,
you don't get it.
I got nothing.
So it's Ceviche Papi.
That's right.
Ceviche spelled like ceviche, my friends.
Yes.
Ceviche. Papi, Papi, spelled like Papi.
Delicious.
So at Ceviche Papi. And comedydelgado.com is your website. And Pod Damn America with Jake Flores is your podcast.
Yeah.
And is it political?
It's political, but also goofy. I think our last episode was half Star Wars, half politics.
Oh, and how could it not be?
You know?
Because of Star Wars. Because what is Star Wars but politics?
That's all it is.
That's it. Vive la resistance. Anyway, so Great British Bakeoff, on the other hand.
Oh.
I have only seen like 3 seasons of it, but it is a delight.
On Netflix.
Yes.
Okay, so did you watch the most recent season?
Is there snow? Wait a minute. I've gone mad because it was just things were. Did you see that?
I think it's just leaves.
Do you think it's leaves? It better be. We live in Los Angeles.
If it's snowing in LA,
End times, you guys.
yeah, I'm just.
If this is our final podcast,
I just want everyone to know that thank you so much for your support.
when they find this a million years from now, when we are frozen in our nuclear tundra,
When the neuromancers are walking the wastelands.
exactly, very distracting. So sorry, Rangers. Back to the Great British Bakeoff.
I just want to say we are currently in a climate where if it did snow, I would freak out immediately, and I would believe it if you told me right now.
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing it anymore, so
Good.
you're good.
right.
I'm going to focus on you, and we'll deal with whatever's happening. Let's live in the moment.
Let's live in the moment. I'm here. Jackie,
Yes.
do you remember when American Idol came out?
Vaguely, yes.
It was-
I never did watch any reality TV shows.
Really?
I watched Top Chef for a little while.
Okay, do you remember when Top Chef first came out?
Yeah.
Right, and you remember it was just like, oh, hey, people are cooking, and they made it competitive somehow.
Yeah.
And, there's drama, there's always like a mean judge,
Yeah.
and the mean judge is like, your ceviche is shite, and so is your face.
Yeah.
It's there was a real poison in the well when it comes.
Top Chef was almost not as it was nicer than American Idol and and Last Comic Standing and all these weird, super mean reality shows.
Right. So I
remember those.
You noticed the thread. You noticed in the zeitgeist,
and I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. I stopped watching it. Right.
Yep.
But then I found Bakeoff.
Bakeoff.
Great British Bakeoff.
Oh, just called Bakeoff to those in the know.
Also known Bakeoff, also known as GBBO.
Okay.
Great British Bakeoff. That's also a nickname. It's also known as Craig in some circles.
Who's Craig?
I don't know.
Okay.
I made that up.
We're just calling it Craig.
We're calling it Craig. So the thing that's so refreshing about Great British Bakeoff is that it's hosted by what has been now dubbed the greatest power couple in TV, Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood.
Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood are amazing.
Amazing duo.
What about those two comics?
Mel and Sue, right? So Sue Perkins, which is basically British Rachel Maddow, and Mel Goydrick. They were a comedy duo, Mel and Sue.
Okay.
In London, in England. Mel and Sue. They're pretty funny together.
Their riffing, their friendship is palpable.
Correct.
And they are a delight.
They're known as big stars in the panel circuit in London. You know, all those panel shows, like
You know, like What's My Line or whatever.
You know, right?
But new ones.
Who's that over there? You know,
right? Things that aren't from 1956.
Right.
Yes.
Never mind the Who's It Nows. Right. So you combine like these dynamic hosts with Mary Berry, who is she was like the next Julia Childs and currently is, and Paul Hollywood is just this impossible. Real names, by the way. Impossibly tanned.
That was the most surprising thing about it. Real names.
Real names. His father, Sir Paul Hollywood, was a baker, you know, from the north.
And knighted.
And knighted as well.
Weird.
I don't know.
So he comes from like weird gentry.
Right. Weird bread of royalty.
Okay.
Because that's what Paul Hollywood is known for, was working all of these hotels as the head baker, like fine hotels like in Cyprus.
So he's a baker, dude.
He's a baker by profession.
Okay.
And he's known as the king of bread. Right. So and the thing about Paul Hollywood is that he's so honest and forthright with his judgment of the finished product.
Yes.
If you were voted off an episode of Bake Off, that is incidental to the episode.
Right.
It has nothing to do. It's the bake. It comes down to the bread.
Yeah.
So what I want to kind of cover on this episode is
yes, please.
Season 6, I believe, or season 5.
Okay.
It was a season where not Sophie won. So it's a season where Ian.
Okay.
There was a scandal called Bingate, where one of the contestants took a frozen, a baked Alaska out of the freezer because it's part ice cream.
Yeah.
To make room for her own, and another contestant's ice cream melted, and he got so frustrated he threw it
away.
He threw it in the bin. And then they made him
Bingate.
And then they made him present the bin.
Yeah.
So they were like, everybody present your cakes, and he just brought up a garbage bin.
Yeah.
And it was like a huge deal. So anyways,
I remember seeing that.
So that's on Netflix, and that was the amount of frustration in the man's eyes when he threw out that baked Alaska was almost like the level of a Greek tragedy. Just
right.
Because he started off so Ian is a hipster guy. Giant beard, always mixing weird
like
flavors.
Bearded, like putting like quinoa and
pickles into like a babka. I'm like, get out of here. What's wrong with you?
You can leave anyway.
You can leave anyways, right? But he started making his way up. He started using traditional flavors. He was like, you know what? I'll do vanilla and cinnamon. And it was good. And the judges were like, okay, Ian is doing okay.
You can do this. Because it's like when I learned to play the clarinet in 3rd grade, and I saw a famous clarinet player, whatever, but he always holds it straight up like a trumpet.
Correct.
And God, I'm spacing his name. Someone's yelling at their podcast. So it's
Yo-Yo Ma, right?
No, Yo-Yo Ma, the cellist. No,
I know
Benny Goodman.
Benny Goodman.
So Benny Goodman, and I said to my dude, I was like to the teacher, I said, I tried to hold my clarinet like that, and he said, when you could play as good as Benny Goodman, you could hold your clarinet however you want. So that's the thing with Ian.
That right. You need to know the rules before you break the rules.
Right. So Picasso.
Exactly. So you can't come in here, with your weird flavors. You got to know how to make a good sponge. Okay?
Right.
If you got
who knew that they were just called a sponge?
I had no idea.
Me neither.
I had no idea what marzipan was. I had no idea.
me neither. Andy loves marzipan.
I had no idea what
What is it?
Marzipan? It's
Again,
just
I have to be reminded all the time.
it's egg white, sugar, and like a little bit of flour, and it just makes like a thicker consistency.
How is that different from meringue?
Because meringue has lemon or some kind of additional flavoring to it, but it's beat and whisked in a different way.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
The difference between marzipan and
meringue. Also, meringues are traditionally toasted. So,
oh, okay.
the other thing, Jackie, is that I come from a family of bakers and cooks.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, my mom is a very good baker. Owned a restaurant and still does like to order food and breads. In our hometown of Newark, New Jersey.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And I
Just like a home kitchen.
She has like a home kitchen.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I bake too. I like to bake like traditional.
It's science.
It's yes. And then when all the things work, when the gluten locks in and you feel the elasticity, it's the best.
Are you inspired by these shows to bake stuff?
I am. So
Okay.
I made for Thanksgiving. I made a cinnamon cookie, basically with like a white meringue top and then macadamia nuts and dusted with the cinnamon powder.
Yeah, yeah.
But mine were edible marijuana cookies. So
Oh,
so I had to label them.
it's a whole new generation, you guys.
I like to
so-
mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
When you cook with marijuana,
Yeah.
do you back in the 80s, in the 12th century, back when last time I had them
Before time was written down.
exactly, back when it was all stone tablets.
Tell me,
and then
oh wizened
they would-
one.
They would break.
Did the sun rise back then?
But weirdly enough, in the West. So the do you saute the thing in the butter and then put the butter in the cookies? Is that how?
So when I usually make it, I use a double boiler. So
Okay.
a glass bowl on top of boiling water, melt my butter, keep it right below boiling temperature, and then depending on how potent I want the butter, I leave the marijuana in. And then
Sure.
yeah, and then when it's done, I use cheesecloth, rinse it out, freeze it. Well, not freeze it, but just leave it in the fridge,
Right, cool it down.
cool it down, and then my butter is ready to use any which way. I'm a little bit lazier nowadays, so I just go to the stores now because it's like going to Kmart now to the weed stores. They just have butter now.
They have weed butter.
Yeah, they just have, and like Nutella. They have weed Nutella. You can just spread it on your toast and have a real trippy
You know that
morning.
the best minds of my generation are working on weed technology.
Yeah.
They could cure cancer, these bastards.
They could.
But they're like, no, people want a weed that isn't going to make them hungry.
You know what though?
And-
Can I tell you? First of all, yes, that'd be great. Please make that. And number two, my sister works for Pfizer, you know, and she tells me the insider secrets. Just like, we can cure cancer, we just don't. It's not profitable. We have enough research money to do it. I was like, really? She's like,
No, they don't have a cure for cancer. They have enough research money
to do it,
actually work on it.
to like really like
Yeah.
90 to 99% cure it.
Well, like sort of like AIDS and stuff. Is what
Pretty
you're
much
saying.
to make it like it's
Manageable.
Like, oh, my cancer's acting up. Let me take my pill real quick.
Right. 'Cause I have a friend of mine who's working on the cure for AIDS. I don't know. And she's funny because
Yeah.
I have to disagree. If they could cure cancer or at least manage it,
Yeah.
I believe that they would do it. I don't.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think it's one of those things that like greed is not holding it back?
I do not. I think that is an excellent science fiction novel.
That is so optimistic. I really love that.
Yeah, and I
believe
love
it
the
too.
fact that I did not know that Carlos Delgado slightly a conspiracy there.
A little bit. I mean, I just have enough people like my
Right, you're surrounded.
my sister's husband.
Yeah.
He's the lead attorney for Philip Morrow cigarettes. He tells me all the secrets too.
Right. Well, there's dirtbags.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of them.
I want to go on record saying I don't think that there's.
Please do go on record. Let the record show.
I want to go on record showing number one, I love cakes. Number two, I do not believe that there's a conspiracy to keep cancer active.
Right.
If they could cure it, they would have.
They would have. And my friend who's working on the cure for AIDS, she was like, the great thing, and weirdly enough, about a year ago, her husband died of cancer. Oh. Very sad. And she was like, kind of ironic. And my friend Kat, she is Indonesian. Her husband, Yuki, Japanese, and their son, Hans.
Hunt.
Yeah, and I said, why have you named him Hans 10 years ago? And she said, you people are always stealing our names. We're taking yours.
What? That is great.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Hans.
Young Hans.
Young Hans.
Young Hans is adorable. Loves the Minecraft. Why wouldn't he? He's an American.
Well, he's Hans.
And he's Hans.
And he's Hans. Oh.
But anyway, she said the great thing about working on the cure for AIDS is that they know what causes it. And with cancer, they don't know what causes cancer.
No idea. A rogue gene.
Right. It's just a variety of things. And you're like, so But if I do believe that they're not throwing all, because we all donate to cancer research.
We all donate every October. We're always throwing.
There should be a gajillion people constantly going, how about this? How about this? And maybe there are, but
whenever you buy a box of crayons, at
$1 goes
because the pink crayon's in there.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Oh, the breast cancer?
Yeah.
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 It's and the only reason breast cancer gets work is because men love boobs. They're like, oh, we got to save the boobs.
I mean,
I'm unmoved with your cervical cancer. I'm so sorry. My lung cancer can go to hell.
You don't
but
save.
boobs.
Why save the boobs when you have to save the thing that makes more boobs, which is the cervix?
Right. The cervix
I mean,
is.
I'm just a cold, logical man.
Again, science. It's everywhere Carlos Delgado goes.
Thank you so much.
So bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back to science because what I didn't know about baked Alaskas was that.
What is a baked Alaska?
So a baked Alaska,
it's ice cream and then there's a blowtorch. If I remember, those are the two things I know.
You're 2/3 of the way there. As Mary Berry would say, you need a nice sponge. So,
oh, interesting.
Bottom layer sponge, a meringue or cream, another layer of sponge, another layer of meringue cream, and then your ice cream. And then your ice cream is that's really what's good. That's the Alaska of the baked Alaska because it's cold. You know,
right?
So that's where the pizzazz comes in. And Ian was making a poppy seed coffee caramel ice cream, very
ambitious.
Ambitious,
yep.
As Paul Hollywood would say. Very ambitious. But it's so filled with ingredients that it's going to take longer to freeze. And that's a novice move. The man, he was a noob. And and that's fine. You know,
and that's one of the great things about the show is that they all are.
They're all noobs.
None of them own. I mean, I'm sure that they're all to some extent trained.
Yeah,
because there's no way you know what the hell half of those things are.
Even during this season that I'm talking about, there was a 17-year-old girl.
Yeah, I remember that
she
woman.
Was kicking butt.
She was taking names, man. She lasted well into the. She might have even won. I can't remember.
She didn't win. She got knocked out right before the semis.
Okay.
And she made it all the way to the end. She was great.
Right. And she kept like rising to the occasion. It was amazing.
It was.
And so talk to me about a sponge.
So
what is a sponge?
So here's the thing about a sponge. A sponge, you're gonna have
define sponge. Say the word sponge again. It's
I will enthusiastically say sponge again. So the thing about a good sponge is that you need to. So it's made flour, eggs, vanilla, a little bit of vanilla extract, and it has to prove for a while. So this mix, this batter. A lot of baking is all the same thing. It just depends on how long you let it prove. Or
and prove is rise?
Ferment, rise.
Okay.
Right. It's British for rise, which is prove.
Okay.
So you're in your KitchenAid. You're whipping the bejesus out of this thing. You're knocking air into your sponge.
Okay. And there's no yeast.
There's a little bit of leaven. Yeah. A little bit of yeast
or baking powder or baking soda,
whatever agent, right?
Okay,
not yeast because that's more for bread and the sponge is cake here. So I think it's just baking powder, some kind of rising agent because it has to trap air. It has to trap air.
Okay,
right. So you beat it to bejesus in your KitchenAid.
Yep.
You knock air into it. You let it rise for like at least 30 minutes.
Okay.
And so it doubles in size, and then once you have it, you pour out your sponge and you bake it, and that's a sponge.
And that's a sponge. All it is cake that you've allowed to rise.
Yeah, and you got to beat air into it because it has bubbles of air inside of it.
Huh. Mm-hmm. You realize I've never made a cake.
Really?
The only thing I've ever made are those cookies on the back of the chocolate chip package.
Super easy to make. Cake. Those cookies.
Those cookies,
yeah, cake.
And the first time I made them, I just did the ingredients in order instead of dry and wet and then putting them together, which actually fucked up the cookies, as you can imagine. So
they put the directions there.
Oh yeah, I didn't read them.
But
sadly,
that's the thing about cooking. Cooking, you can jazz it up, but baking, it's a science. And if you mess up anything in baking, your cake is flat.
Right.
Or your cookies are
weirdly
old boots.
Yeah, they're How about the book Ratio? Have you ever read the book Ratio?
I haven't. What is that?
It is. And my sister gave it to me in an effort because she likes to make bread, and it's all about ratios and making different kinds of breads by using math. And I was like, you are alone in wanting to read this. And then I gave it to my mother-in-law, who also. She didn't read it's like a cookbook instructional book. So you cherry pick, right? So you
Right.
just read parts of it and go, I wonder what that's like.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm a fan of savory breads.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so anything with like bacon, cheese in it, baked into it.
I bought a rosemary garlic, and then here's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world: take one of those loaves of bread,
Yeah.
stick it underneath a roast chicken, and make something I like to call chicken bread. I've named it myself. It's so good. All it is
Chicken bread.
It's just schmaltz and chicken, and it's kind of crunchy and it's kind of soggy, but it's a delight.
It's just the look, just that look in your eye of just like, aren't I brilliant? And I'm like, you are.
I am brilliant.
You are
I call
brilliant.
it chicken bread. I don't know why. You know why I call it that?
Why is that?
Because it's a bread that you put under a chicken.
Stop digging your strong oil. You know, they're making an American Bake-Off. And Paul Hollywood
right.
is hosting on it.
That's right.
Yeah, I think you should enter chicken bread into Bake-Off.
Oh my God! Except for that, it would all fall apart. I watched an American season.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
And how'd you like it?
It wasn't the same. But
Do you know why?
why?
Because they don't care about the bake. They care about the drama of the
'Cause
competition.
It's an American thing.
It's an American thing.
They pulled the legs out from
That's
it.
right. And even including Paul Hollywood, that's the same how like
They told him. They said, "No, we don't care."
they don't care.
And so he's like, "Okay, I'll do whatever you want."
Right, because
Yeah.
he's like, you know, so Bake Off, the seasons that you know, switched over from BBC Two to Channel 4, which is not BBC associated. And
Okay.
and that's why the original hosts, Mel and Sue, bailed.
Yep.
And Mary Berry, because they all had deals with BBC.
Okay.
Paul is, you know, like, hey, look, I'm just
Freelance.
here. I'm a freelancer. And so he made the jump over to Channel 4. Mm-hmm. It kind of lost a little bit of its, you know, like the
Kind of that magic.
The magic. So
Yeah.
the current season, which is over already, no spoilers to who won it. I'm not going to spoil it, but
Okay.
it just didn't have the same magic as the original Bake Off.
Yeah.
And the American version is the same way.
Well, the American version had that problem of competition. One of the greatest episodes I think I ever saw of the Great British Bake Off was when somebody finished early and they went and they offered to help.
That's right. They offer to help somebody else to finish their bake.
And I was like, well, I got to burst into tears. This is the greatest television I've ever seen in my life.
And you'll see it throughout the episodes. Like, you'll be like, oh, Jerry, can you grab this? And then, like,
And people will.
He'll help, like, take the tin off the cake.
Right.
You know?
Or they'll carry it together.
And it really just shows. BAFTA, the Great British Bake Off won a BAFTA award, and it's been named as the reason why baking has been rebirthed into British culture again.
Okay.
Because Britain is known for its bakes. It's known for its candies and sweets. That's why in Harry Potter, such an iconic scene was that trolley truck with the sweets and the cakes.
Right.
You know, that's why, everybody in England
Yeah,
has
the scone.
The scone.
That didn't invent itself, you guys.
Oh, no.
The British were there.
That's right. You got to fold butter or margarine into your bake, into thirds, over and over and over again, and that's how you get your flaky crust of a scone.
Yeah, but it's not like phyllo dough.
No.
Because it's thick.
No, it's not like phyllo.
Because it's thick.
It's thick. That's
so
right.
it's not the flaky of like a baklava.
Or like a croissant.
Yeah.
I said that.
You said croissant.
I did.
C'est vrai.
Oh, great.
Anyway, so now we know how to make a sponge.
We know how to make a sponge.
Now, a baked Alaska is a sponge with ice cream.
That's right.
And
so
then
you
anything
make,
else?
Yeah. So a cup. You have
And then a meringue, I think, right? Or you said
a meringue top.
Okay.
And then you have like a cream filling.
So there's like cream being custardy?
Like a custardy. Correct. So
And
sponge, custard.
Okay.
Thin.
Yep.
Sponge again.
Okay. Stack a sponge
Custard.
with custard. Yeah.
Ice cream.
Ice cream on top of the custard?
Correct.
No, nobody said to themselves, "This is too much."
No, because it's an American dish.
Wait, a baked Alaska is an American dish?
Yep.
That does make sense. Alaska.
Alaska.
It's either us or Russia.
Or Russia. And theirs are very unrefined.
Right.
You know?
And they're making a borscht.
They're making a borscht. It's baked Alaska. It's bread.
It is bread.
Yes.
And then they panettone, except for that's Italian. Anyway.
Fair,
so,
but it's in the world
But
of
they're always
bake.
at Russian. I literally. Andy loves panettone, but he always gets it at the Russian grocery store. So I always think it's a Russian baked good,
Right.
But it isn't.
It's not.
It's an Italian baked good.
It's an Italian baked good.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's essentially a fruit bread,
Yeah, pretty much.
but not. I mean, remember how like people make fun of fruit bread or what?
The Christmas bread. Remember
Yeah.
the Christmas? It was like that Italian Christmas bread that if you try to bite into it, like
it was dense and gross,
it'll
right? And there was
pull
too
your
much
fillings out.
Yeah. There was like candies and fruit.
It was
in
like dried fruit.
It was too. Yeah, it was too dried fruit.
As Paul Hollywood would say, it's dry ingredients with a dry bake. It's going to make a dry bread.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
I like it got a little much in the seasons when they were just busting Paul Hollywood and making him the bad guy.
They were.
I mean, and he embraced it. He was like, okay, well, I guess I'm the bad guy.
We kind of, but that's also the thing that they really embraced about the show was Paul Hollywood's terseness and honesty was refreshing because it was never towards the bakers, it was towards the bake.
Yeah.
Anything he's ever said has always been about the bake.
He didn't. It wasn't like he was looking for trouble either. It felt like Mary Berry wanted, and they always said something nice.
Yeah.
They always said something nice about the bake, and then they were like, there's trouble.
Stern but fair.
Yeah. It was like, this looks good. It doesn't taste great.
But let's cut into it.
Let's cut into it.
Right.
Or this tastes amazing. What is happening?
What happened with the presentation?
With the presentation.
Yeah. Right. It's just like, it's like a melting sludge pile, but it tastes so good.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's stern but fair. Like one of his, like Paul Hollywood isn't looking for trouble, as you said. He always wants to be pleasantly surprised. That's why one of his catchphrases is, I don't like it. I love it.
Right. And then he did that. As the seasons, I don't know if I saw it from the beginning. How many seasons are there with him and Mary Berry and the melon soup?
So technically 8, but
Okay.
there's only 6, I think, on Netflix.
Okay.
And then the current one is on PBS.
Okay.
Without them.
Without them, just
Yeah.
him.
Just him.
Yeah. And interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think I've only seen 4 episodes, 4 seasons, which means I should go check out what's happening.
You should go check out what's happening.
We don't watch a lot of television. Last night we committed to a new TV show.
Which one?
We've always watched and we'll continue to watch until they take it away from us, the bastards. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, yeah.
I love Agents of
I'm
S.H.I.E.L.D.
all caught up. I'm waiting for the next season.
Oh, my God. This season with where they're in the future is outstanding.
Yes.
Now, last night we watched 2 episodes of the new Star Trek Discovery.
How is that? Because somebody described it to me like Stargate Atlantis.
Oh, weird.
Like they were just like, it's not like traditional Star Trek. It's like they're hopping around universes and having fun.
Well, they're classically... Well, first of all, it takes place in between original Star Trek and Star Trek The Next Generation.
Interesting.
Yeah, so essentially it's the reintroduction of Klingons into the Federation... into Federation space.
Oh, okay.
And that's the first 2 episodes.
Okay.
And at one point, Andy was like, see, it's classic Star Trek there. Why is the first officer or the captain going off on a thing? And I was like, because there's too many characters and nobody wants to meet everybody. If it's going to be a story about the guy who, like, then it's Red Shirts, right? Then it's John Scalzi's book.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what Star Trek was. It was the 4 people we knew. So
Right.
you got to send them. How are you going to send the people? What do I care?
Yeah.
If somebody I don't know dies.
I don't care about Craig from engineering.
Right, Craig from engineering. I hope it all works out for him. But I'm not vested.
I don't
I'm
know.
not.
He's wearing a red shirt though.
He's doomed. And but these two are great. The costumes are great. The art direction is amazing.
Okay, I'll take the recommendation.
It's vaguely like how like Star Trek always wants to have the big issues.
Yeah.
They went with a weird. They wanted to discuss racism.
What they do? All green lives matter? What do they do?
No. It was the Klingons.
Oh, okay.
But here's the weird thing: is kind of racist. They kind of went for the racists.
Really
Interesting life choice, Star Trek.
Wow.
I think it's going to shake loose and fix that. I mean, because there was a complete dirtbag episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation that was ridiculous. Even Jonathan Frank said that episode is a racist piece of shit.
Wow. Was it like they go like Imperial mode? Like they
well, they went. They were it was Star Trek: Next Generation. Jean-Luc Picard needed some vaccine that was on this one planet.
Yeah.
The planet was a warrior caste.
Yeah.
And they kept saying things like, "Well, they're bred this way, and they're super violent, and they're all this."
They went in eugenics mode.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was completely brutal, and so. And it's just a room full of white people writing this.
Yeah.
There was, by the way, the guy who played Worf.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be seen in this episode.
He probably stayed in his trailer.
He was like,
I read this. I'm good.
And Geordi, though, Geordi was in it.
LaForge.
Yeah, Geordi LaForge was in it, but he does not interact with them at all, the people on the planet. And he has a totally separate plot
like
point.
a B. He's got a B line.
He's got the B plot. Yeah. And you're like, so anyway, Star Trek Discovery, it's probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're like, I'm sick of saying this, but your hearts are in the right place. Blah, 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 blah.
Funny tie-in.
Yeah.
Whenever there's an Indian contestant on Bake Off,
Yes.
it's always a little heavy-handed addressing the flavors and the spices that they'll use.
Because of colonialism?
Because of colonialism. Because like Mary Berry will be like, I hope it's not terribly spicy. And it'll be just like an Indian contestant be like, well, yes, I'm making a tikka-based savory bread. And she's like, oh, tikka, you and your spices, you're so good. And like it'll be like very overt.
Yeah.
But part of it's like Mary Berry's like 1 billion years old.
Right.
So like,
but not an idiot. So you'd think that she would.
I don't know. She had a new show. She has a new show out recently where she's cooking and she was making a bolognese sauce and she put cream and wine in it. And people were losing their minds. They were like,
The
what?
Italian meat and tomato thing that you cook for 7 hours?
Yeah.
What did she put in it?
Cream
Wine?
Cream and wine into bolognese sauce. And people were like, are you trying to make it into a cake? What are you doing? Like, we think like she's like...
Right, she might be losing it.
Yeah, she might
she's
be...
not making... Essentially, she stopped making a bolognese sauce.
Yeah.
And is making something else.
Bolognese cake.
Right, maybe she's making an Alfredo.
Oh, I don't know. But I don't know about her faculties, but... I mean, Paul was always very tactful with the Indian flavors. So
it was Stuart Lee as a stand-up comic that I beloved by me and
myself. I love Stuart Lee.
He's
as well.
great, but he does this great thing about how it's a whole long thing about immigration. All of his bits are 19 minutes long, but the thing is. The thing about that he says about Indians, like, oh, those damn Indians bringing a national cuisine to us, and it was pretty great. It was it's better than that.
To a nation traditionally that has no flavors,
and has been completely mocked for the last 300 years.
Oh yeah,
about their food and how horrible it is.
Right, and they're definitely like a projection of the end of empire. You know, like I like to compare our trajectory to their trajectory in terms of like TV.
Yeah,
they got reality first, and we got reality. They got like pop stars. We got pop stars. They got Bake Off, which I think was a positive thing.
Yeah.
And that makes me look forward to what we have in our future as well.
Right. I was hoping that our empire could go out with a whimper, too.
Yeah.
It turns out might
go out with a bang because my button's bigger than your button.
Your button. Button talk.
I almost jumped off a bus when I read that. So
well, this will drop 3 weeks from the day that we were told about how big everybody's buttons are, and if we're lucky, people around them haven't connected any of their buttons to anything. Hopefully,
I sincerely believe that there is a tacit agreement between generals that
just a rogue dude who's like, disconnect.
Yeah, just swallow the key.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, all right.
Nope, not you so much.
You're not the guy.
Anyway, so Baked Alaska. Have you made these things ever?
So I made a tiramisu recently.
Now, what's a tiramisu? I've seen it.
Tiramisu. Got to bake some sponge.
Oh, is that a sponge?
It's also a sponge. It's mostly sponge. So here's my tiramisu because my mom used to make tiramisu. So I learned how to make it from her. I include a dulce de leche in my tiramisu.
Okay.
Flan style.
I was going to say, because there's usually a sponge sitting in some sort of sweet, milky thing that I get over at the deli near my house. It's a Mexican or Guatemalan deli.
Sure.
So I don't know what that is called.
Condensed milk.
No, the whole dish.
Oh.
Right. Sweet condensed milk, I recognize.
The dish, I'm not sure. If I see it, I can probably recall it. But, you have your sponge, and then you have an amaretto espresso.
Oh.
So it has alcohol in it, but you can make a non-alcoholic version, which I prefer. So I take espresso.
Yeah.
And then
with almond extract or something?
Yeah, with like espresso with some almond extract or vanilla extract, I prefer.
Okay.
Or hazelnut.
Yep.
You wash your sponge, your first layer.
Oh.
Then you put your cream.
Okay.
Which you can make any way. I like to make a pistachio cream for my tiramisu.
Is this a whipped cream?
So you whip it yourself. You whip the cream yourself. Some people like to include vanilla in it as well.
But you do a pistachio.
I do a pistachio.
Okay.
So it gives it a slightly green tinge.
Okay. Brightens it up.
Slide that on. Slap. Another layer sponge. Another layer of coffee. Another layer of your meringue or whip. sponge on top. Then you take cinnamon powder,
Okay.
dust it all over, and then you can do like a caramel design. I do
That's
like
a tiramisu.
yeah, and then I do it like a chocolate. It's Italian.
It's Italian.
Mm-hmm.
Sponge, cream, custard. These are the three main ingredients that you're layering. Okay.
Over and over again.
Got it. And then a caramel design on top.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. That's a thing.
Yeah. So, and then just to finish off your baked Alaska, Ian's folly again was making too much of a complicated ice cream that takes longer to.
Have you made your own ice cream?
No, I haven't, but I'm intending to.
Right. Because
So-
we have ice cream salt that we got from someone.
Yeah.
So we must have an ice cream maker somewhere in this house.
I would hope so.
Right. Because I don't know why we bought ice cream salt.
Yeah.
I think because you need a special giant crystal salt, I guess, to make it
Rock salt.
something.
You
Rock salt.
just need rock salt. Yeah.
I don't know if it goes. It can't possibly go in the ice cream.
It does. In the machine, it whips it all. It just crushes it all
helps.
together.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Also,
I don't know anything.
A little bit of saltiness, with a little bit of savory with your sweet brings out the sweetness and
Right.
flavors in general.
Okay.
Unless it's the mysterious fifth flavor, umami.
Umami.
Oh, umami.
I feel like the Japanese have sold us a bill of goods on this. And
Umami and square watermelons.
I was at Disney World one time, and they
Yeah.
took us through their growing thing, and they could grow watermelons to look like Mickeys.
Oh my god!
But the square watermelons are just for shipping, obviously. Right? Because they stack better.
that's. I don't know if it's a chicken or egg situation.
I believe it to be a chicken situation. There's no conspiracy there either.
no
It's
conspiracy.
It's just the stacking of watermelons.
I'm always looking for shadows where there's no light.
Fair enough.
That's fair. Okay, so our baked Alaska.
Yeah.
We have your ice cream on the top. You cover the top of the ice cream with a meringue. And then the whole thing, you cover it like a volcano meringue.
Okay.
And then you torch it.
And then, blowtorch a little bit.
Yeah, but then you got to get it into the freezer quick because you just heated it up with torch.
Yeah.
So it's a timing situation. Baked Alaska is all about timing.
Yeah.
And
a big enough freezer.
And a big enough freezer. And I want to, I don't know if any other podcasts that have spoken about Bake Off have mentioned this, but I want to go on record as saying that Diana did not sabotage Ian. It was only out of the freezer for 40 seconds. That's not enough time to melt an ice cream.
Okay.
Ian's poor craftsmanship of the baked Alaska is what was his folly.
Right.
That's what it was. And then Diana didn't come back to Bake Off after that episode. I don't know if you recall.
She bailed as well.
Well, what happened was she fell and hit her head.
Okay.
As old people sometimes tend to do.
Right.
And she lost her sense of smell and taste from her head injury. So she couldn't bake anymore.
Well, there's only 2 weeks in between each episode, right?
Yeah, but the official
That's the official story?
Yeah,
Oh,
from the hospital that they have, like, they're like, yep, she's got a brain injury.
And so she lost her sense of smell.
She lost her sense of smell and taste.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to cook if you can't taste your food.
Uh-huh.
And what was it? There was a couple episodes where they had to make things, I think, that had meat in them, and vegetarians couldn't taste them.
Vegetarians couldn't taste them. That's right.
And Paul Hollywood was like, well, you got to taste your food as you go. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're not going to know if it's good.
Right. But that's where, like, I feel like experience will come in, you know?
Right.
But you're never really going to know.
Yeah.
And I believe those people lost.
They did lose.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of, like, that whole thing where they prowl around and get in their heads.
It's Mel and Sue, like, what's going on over here? And I'm like,
Yeah.
as I'm pouring, like, the precision mix.
Right, as I'm
pour.
trying to glue, popsicle sticks together so I can make a fence that goes around my cake.
Right.
That looks like
A castle.
A castle.
Right.
And
it also has a working dragon. It's actually a tiny living dragon in my cake.
right.
Right.
It's I brought dragonflies from home.
Oh, I do love the custom, like, cutouts that, like, yeah, I made my husband make this. It's shaped like a Mona Lisa. Like,
Yes.
It's like,
I love those. I love
Yeah.
the ones where, well, this is honey from the bees that I raised.
right.
Or this is, sometimes they do that, which
Yeah.
is kind of neat. It's a glimpse into weird British gardens.
So and the thing about Bake Off to me is that it's like a weird episode of like directed by David Lynch, because it'll be like the cuts that they have. It's like baking, cut to a sheep eating grass, cut to Mel and Sue laughing maniacally, cut to Mary Berry drunk, cut back to baking, and you're just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's pretty soothing though.
The music.
And that's what it must be. It's just the imagery, you're just like, okay, so there's some cows, there's some sheep.
Right. We're in a park in northern London or whatever they are.
There's a big, tent.
Yeah, and it's very soothing, and again, the show is not about competition, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah,
it's about the bake,
and for me, it's about things that I never want to eat. Every time we would watch it, Andy and I would watch it, and he's like, "Would you eat that?" And I was like, "No." No, I'll just have a little small bowl of ice cream. It'd be great.
Right. I'll just have a donut, like from 7-Eleven. Good enough for me.
I mean, it's not, my palate isn't there.
Right.
But the amount of work that went into these things.
It really is. It's almost
and
inspiring.
The planning. Some of that, you come back to the thing and you're like, well, I'm going to make a Japanese pagoda and it's going to have 4 stories and then there's going to be a roof tile and it's going to be made out of brittle, peanut brittle that I make myself, and I'm going to make peanut brittle and it's just going to look like shale.
Yeah,
and it's completely insane.
And I'm going to make an Abe pagoda. It's just
Abe pagoda's coming in to give his blessing on it. Finally died, that guy. I'm sure he was dead for 30 years.
100%.
Nope. So there's that one, and then let's talk about the Australian one, which I've never heard of.
So Zumbo's Just Desserts is on Netflix as well, and it's basically, so this is a competition show, proper competition show, where a bunch of home cooks have to make these really crazy, like Willy Wonka-esque
candies and stuff.
Yeah, well, the
desserts. Okay,
so the desserts may have candy, may not have a candy associated to it.
Right.
But the thing is, Zumbo is like this weird, almost non-verbal looking dude. Have you ever seen Fifth Element?
Yes.
Do you remember the war aliens? They would turn human, but if they shake their faces, they become alien again.
Kind of.
Okay, well, that's what this guy looks like. He looks like he's stuck between transforming human into alien.
War aliens?
Yeah,
Is that what they were called? Hilarious.
That's what I call them.
Fair enough. It's chicken bread. It's chicken bread done Fifth Element style.
Chicken bread, war aliens.
Okay, war aliens.
So basically, that's what this guy looks like, and he has a weird assistant named Gigi, who's from Brazil.
Okay,
and she just runs around yelling at people. It's not.
So he's
hot
Australian,
enough.
and she's Brazilian.
And
it's not hot enough.
It's not hot enough. She'll run around just saying stuff to people, just being like, "It's not cooking long enough," and just run away and just yell at people. And Zumbo doesn't say anything. He just stands there quietly with his arm folded, like a Mr. Clean looking dude.
Right. And does he cook?
He is not on the show.
Okay,
but he is known as the Willy Wonka of Australia. He has a whole line of desserts that are sold in Australia. He has restaurants. He has like bake shops.
Okay,
he's like a big deal that we've never heard of because we're not Australian.
Right. He's a local hero.
He's a local. If Australia is local, yes.
Local to Australia. Local to those 25 million people on board. Huge. Big deal. Awesome.
And so it's kind of more of a knockoff of Bakeoff, as tends to happen.
Yeah.
But really what I love about it is just how complex the bakes are.
Oh.
Because you are making, like, it looks like stalactites coming out of the ground, but out of like caramel sugar on top of like a...
Oh, it's all that. It's that skill.
Yeah, it's like filigree, it looks like a elf's home, like it's just like a bunch of like beautiful things.
Right. You're making essentially Asgard.
You're making mithril.
Right.
Yeah.
It's and working with liquid metal like T2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, like my cake is made of caramel, but it also glows if danger is near. That's the kind of stuff that they're making.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
And is it important to instill, like, are they like, well, you have to infuse some fun into this because it's candy?
That's the thing. No fun.
No fun.
Devoid of it. Like, they're all like you're supposed to, like, this is for children.
Yeah.
And they'll have children run in as like guest tasters.
Yeah.
Like some rounds will be like, and now the most difficult judges of all, children. And like 20 kids with like little white, chef outfits run in and sit down. And they're like, yay. And they're like eat. It looks like Hook, where all the kids are eating the imaginary food.
Yeah.
So like they're killing this food, and like that's fun, but none of the adults are having fun because they're all like, we need to win this.
Okay. so they're super competitive.
It's like Bizarro Bake-Off.
Yeah.
Because it's all about it's all about
the Bake-Off's evil twin, wearing a beard.
It's the Legion of Bake.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So that's Zumbo's. I think if you really are into baking,
yes,
you should check out Great British Bakeoff Masterclass.
Oh, I've heard of that too.
Also on Netflix, and it's Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood baking some of the things that they
suggested that they had people bake.
Correct.
Wait, Masterclass.
Masterclass.
All right, Great British Bakeoff Masterclass.
Yeah, and so that I watched to learn how to bake new stuff.
And how many seasons of that are there?
I think it's just one season, 8 episodes, but each episode covers like 3 different bakes.
That's neat.
And a lot of the bakes are repeated. Like multiple seasons will have a Baked Alaska round. Or they'll have, so.
So they just picked eight episodes times 3. Mm-hmm. That's a number, 24. And so if they...
You looked at me and I'm like, I got nothing, Jackie. That's on you. You're the one who was brave enough to bringing up math.
So, yes. And, I think that's...
Yeah.
So,
because
I've heard that's wonderful.
It's tremendous.
And do they judge each other's bakes?
A little bit. They're a little flirty.
Oh, that's hilarious.
They're a little flirty together. It's just like, oh, Mary, would you like another glass of Chardonnay? You're like, oh, Paul, you know how I get.
Do you think they're really friends?
I think so. I think that the move to Channel 4 kind of broke up their partnership.
Yeah.
And I think
it was a dream team, man.
It was a dream team. And they were voted the best duo on television. It was Mary Berry and Paul Hollywood. It just worked. It just really worked.
Yeah.
And I think they were friends in real life. I think you can tell when it comes to
they
TV.
got along really well anyway.
Yeah. Like they knew each other before Bake Off. They were both in the world of professional baking and cooking. And like for conventions, they would see each other and stuff like that. So it's not like they were perfect strangers.
Yeah.
I think just the changes that happened, it kind of broke their relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
And the new Bake Off isn't that good either. So
no.
Yeah.
I do like there's Iron Chef.
Iron Chef I grew up on.
Yeah, I grew up on
the original, like with the Japanese hosts.
With the Japanese hosts and the dubbing and the whole craziness.
Today's ingredients. Octopus beaks.
Right.
And you're like, all right.
I don't know.
I guess I'll make a stir fry.
Yeah. Gonna grab a couple of shoulderfuls of these piles of food.
All right. I'll get a whole cow.
Very Hunger Games.
It really was.
And when you look back on it, you're like, maybe that's where she got the idea to put the giant pile of weapons is a giant pile of food in Iron Chef. And
what? The people from the main district do look like they worked on Iron Chef, to be fair.
Right, just because the makeup alone.
The makeup alone.
So, and then I liked Top Chef because it was competitive, but it was also my favorite reality shows. Mm-hmm. And I haven't watched a lot of them, mostly because they're super mean and they're super stressful for people.
Yeah.
Top Chef looks stressful for people.
Yeah.
But it also looked doable. Like they're like, these are, you have to create a dinner in this weird environment.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm really sorry. You're going to be not grilling, but it's going to be outside. It's going to be 102 degrees, and I'd like you to serve baked Alaska.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly it.
That's what Top Chef kind of was.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, or it's a bowling alley, but I'm going to need a 5-star Michelin.
Right. It's a bowling alley. It shouldn't be happening here, and yet here we are.
And that's their twist.
And make a miracle happen.
Right. And here's a ladle.
Here's a ladle.
One ladle between the three of you. Work with it.
Work it out, and then you'll be the king of Thunderdome.
Right. It does feel a little bit like sort of, the madness. Have you ever worked in a kitchen?
I have.
I was only a dishwasher.
I was only a dishwasher, too.
Excellent. Do you know why? Because it's an easy job for a comic to get.
You damn right.
Or anybody, really.
Yeah.
Because it's just a job that you have to be willing to do.
That's it. I'm willing to trade my life force for this.
Right. I'm willing to be soaking wet and reeking of French fries.
So hot.
Yeah, just hot, and I'm covered in half of my body's wet because I'm dealing with hot water.
I'm dealing with water and food.
And then weird, gross food is everywhere.
And then the yelling.
And the yelling is what I thought Top Chef was interesting because what it does is it creates a situation. It crystallizes that pressure in a kitchen.
Yes.
where I was so happy to not be part of it, except for when they ran out of forks.
Cation, you had one job. Forks.
We can't be out of forks. Okay.
You're over here like picking up rocks. Like, oh, look at this one.
I'm like, nobody's brought me enough forks to wash.
I can't make forks.
Right. I'm actually not making forks.
Right.
So, the craziness is, because the yelling
of the line,
Yes.
like the chef is king. You obey the king, and
Right.
there's no questions.
You cannot question the king.
Right. And it's like it's beyond patriarchy because chefs can be women too.
Right.
I don't remember the switch of when like chefs used to be like these crazy eccentrics who would be like, I put rose petals infused into my, steak. It turned into like this Bourdain, like I used to do heroin and now I'm a chef, like I have
Right.
tattoos.
Right.
Because like I've worked for those, like I've washed dishes for those guys
The
too.
rock star
The rock
rock
chefs.
and roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing because the cooking of food is so a huge, like the other thing I just saw is I saw the first one of Michael Pollan's. It's on Netflix as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the elements and it's how the history of cooking with them.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the first one's called fire, oddly enough, and then there's one called water, and then there's one called dirt or earth or I don't know,
Right.
air, and so like but
Yeah.
there's 4 of them, and nobody loves sort of the primitiveness. He loves sort of like a lost tribe of people that are still cooking with dirt.
Yeah, with
He's
like a mud pot.
Yeah, let's do this. They're burying their food, and then they like kimchi, right?
Right, with fermenting it,
Yeah,
yeah.
And they're like, we're gonna find them, and then I'm gonna go back to my $12,000 grill and try to recreate it.
Do you know that happened in Portland? There was
Oregon?
Yeah.
Shocked. Yes. No offense.
There's like these 2 white girls who opened up a burrito shop and they like had gone down to Mexico and stolen a recipe from like this like local tribe because the women wouldn't give them the recipe, so they were like literally sneaking into the windows watching these people cook, brought the recipes up to Portland, made like a hit because it was delicious food, obviously.
What was it?
I don't know, it's just like this like recipe for like tacos and burritos or whatever. And after
but something was being done like secretly right.
Right. And after 3 weeks,
they stole it.
They were shut down. They're protested to shut down.
Oh, because people are like,
Found out.
Hey, crazy white ladies.
Yeah. Hey.
They're like, we're bringing that. And you're like, yes.
Yeah, but there's a reason why they didn't give it to you.
They didn't wanna.
Yeah.
It was theirs.
That's theirs.
Yeah.
That's their Tia's recipe.
Yeah, do you know what that is? That's stealing.
Yeah.
And if you could stop.
Yeah, well, it's Manifest Destiny.
Manifest Destiny. That's my act.
There you go.
I was there all week. And I haven't told that joke recently, mostly because of the pipeline stuff. I'm like, why don't we leave the Indians alone? And
we lost that one bad, right?
Yeah. We totally lost it. And then Trump came in and we lost it even worse.
So bad.
Yeah.
And we just forgot.
Well,
they didn't.
They didn't.
They didn't.
They're still going, oh, shit.
Yeah, they're covered in oil.
They're covered in oil.
It's burst.
It's very sad.
But yes.
So, by the way, I'm talking to Carlos Delgado, by the
Hello.
way. It's at Ceviche Poppy.
That's me.
And ComedyDelgado.com and Pod Damn America with Jake Flores podcast.
Yeah. I also have an album.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's called Featuring for Myself. And,
First of all, that's a great name of an album.
thank you. It's out on all the places and weirdly Audible for some reason.
Oh, there you go.
Because I think like Rooftop.
Rooftop?
Yeah.
That's why.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Rooftop got bought by Amazon. Amazon owns Audible. It
all makes sense now.
It's a corporate chain that Carlos Delgado is part of.
Hey, I'm suckling on the corporate teat. Nom, 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 nom.
Exactly. I hope your sound exchange money is real. And,
It's in Bitcoin.
Oh, damn it. So here's my new question.
What's up?
Regarding ceviche papi.
Yeah.
Can you make ceviche?
I can.
Okay.
I can make 3 kinds: Mexican, Peruvian, and Ecuadorian.
What is your ancestry?
Ecuadorian.
Ecuadorian. Mm-hmm. That's right there on the
old equator.
The old equator.
Yeah, we're not a creative people.
No. I'm from South Milwaukee. Don't worry about it. So, the journey continues. Humanity is the same the world over.
Brown, white, we're all a little.
We're all not that bright. Chicken bread. Right?
Warrior aliens.
Warrior aliens. So ceviche. So what's Ecuadorian ceviche?
So it's Traditionally, it's just cooked in lime juice. You could take scallops and shrimp and onions and cook it in a lime juice. It's cold. It's served cold, and that's pretty much it. It's very straightforward.
Cooked or marinated until it cooks.
So technically, it's marinated until cooked because the acidity of the lime juice cooks the seafood.
That's it.
So you don't have to heat it up.
So that's Ecuadorian.
That's Ecuadorian.
What are the other two?
So Mexican has lemons instead of limes.
Oh, interesting.
And then Peruvian style is just different types of ingredients.
Oh, that more spices?
Yeah, more spices, but also they'll have, like, instead of scallops, it'll be scallions or something.
Incans.
So, yeah, those Incans, you know.
They were like, hey, we're going to get some herbs.
You know, we might be in the mountains, but we're going to trek down, get some scrimps, make some ceviche up here. What's that, white people? Oh, no.
And, oh, shit. And, we're sorry we built the road so good.
You guys want some pox in your soup?
Boo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I can make ceviche, yeah.
Oh, that's not awesome. Mm-hmm. So now I actually want to try a sponge.
You want to try to make a sponge?
I kind of want to make a sponge now.
So honestly, go for height. You're gonna want to go for volume and height. Let it rise as best as you can. Really beat the. Do you have a KitchenAid?
Oh, I got a I got a handheld mixer.
You have a handheld mixer?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. It'll work. Like
the kitchen. Just stick it out.
Just really get in there until you start to see bubbles.
Okay.
When you see bubbles, then you know you've put enough air into your sponge.
Right.
I would just Google any sponge recipe.
Andy's cousin made this thing called hummingbird cake for Christmas.
Ooh, what is that?
That's too sweet.
Too sweet?
For me.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hummingbirds probably love it because they're all about sugar.
They're all about that nectar.
They're all about that nectar.
That's right.
They're all about that
nectar.
And so, but it's pineapples and
pineapples.
Something's happening.
Yeah,
you can take a look at it. There's a couple pieces. I ate through most of the pies. Andy's mom she bakes a lot. She makes an amazing English muffin.
Okay.
She makes an amazing sourdough bread.
Do you know English muffin's not really English? It's American.
Is it also American?
Yeah. And it's not real. It's not English at all. They don't have English muffins in England.
Well, that makes...
We just made it up because to make it sound
French
fancy.
Fries.
No, well, but they do have frites in France.
They have potatoes.
They have potatoes that are fried, and they happen to be fried shaped.
Right.
But not really truly like French fries.
Like they didn't come from France.
No.
Yeah. So, neither did English muffins, by God.
Mm-mm.
And that's fine. But they are delicious because they got tiny little crooks and nannies. Nannies and crooks? That's not what is it?
Crooks and nooks and crannies.
Nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
I'm not employing nannies as crooks.
Here's the thing. I heard that and it sounded right in my mind too.
You dyslexia fixed it.
I did.
I like it. My mind is literally a sieve these days. I don't know what to tell you. Terrigen mists. Okay, so
no, my mom too.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So yeah, a good sponge, a lot of air bubbles, and make sure your sponge doesn't get wet. A wet sponge is not a good sponge. It doesn't hold up.
How could it get wet?
It just depends on your fillings or whatever mixes you're making.
Oh,
you know how.
So keep it separate from whatever you're putting on top of it.
Keep it separated.
Like if I put like a raspberry jelly in between,
put like a meringue or put like a cream on top of that to prevent the raspberry from soaking into the sponge because the sponge will lose its air. So
the cream won't do that.
The cream won't fall. Nope.
Oh, interesting.
A cream, like a thick cream or meringue, it won't sink. It'll float right on top.
Fascinating.
Yeah. The only exception to the rule is like a tiramisu where you're purposely soaking espresso into it because you're brushing it on top. Yeah.
So then you're doing it.
You're doing it. You're really doing it.
You're making it happen.
100%.
Carlos Delgado, it has been an hour.
Oh, no.
Yes.
It was so fun, though.
It was really fun. And people, get out there. I'm featuring for myself, Poddamn America, at Ceviche Poppy, ComedyDelgado.com. These are all the things in a row that it's an attainable goal to find Carlos Delgado. And you should do it because he's great. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?